the reason, and he said, why wouldn't you want? You're very good at math. Don't you like math? I said, yes, I always get A's in math. And it kind of was somewhat easy for me. I said, I don't want to join the club because one, they're all boys. Like girls are not in that club.
Welcome to the Whole Student Podcast with Cal Balaban. Whole Student refers to the magical moment when a student is fully seen, heard, and known. This is the spark of a relationship between student and teacher, where the former is catalyzed on a journey beyond what they thought possible, and the latter is a proud advisor cheering from the sidelines. The Whole Student Podcast asks guests to reflect back to their moment, the person who became a transformative teacher in their lives and on the journey they were set upon. Our guest today is Maria Zhang. Maria is currently the Vice President of Engineering at Instagram. She was the Vice President of Engineering at LinkedIn, and prior to that, the Chief Technology Officer of Tinder. Now, Maria believes in the power of technology and software in changing people's lives. Ever since she unboxed her first computer till this day, she believes that great software helps people become more productive, free them through information, connect them with people, new opportunities, and ideas everywhere. She lives this in her life as she practices engineering with a purpose. Everything she does or leads her team in doing, every line of code they write is filled with a sense of purpose. That core purpose is intertwined with education. Maria serves on a board of a school centered on whole student education, has committed her life's work on communicating the importance of education, and inculcates these values in her children. It is my pleasure to welcome Maria Zhang to the Whole Student Podcast. Thank you,
Thank
Maria.
you so much for having me here. Such a great pleasure.
Thank you, Maria. I hope that intro did you justice.
Thank you. I feel very flattered.
Thank you. Well, Maria, I'm gonna kick off the questions with the first one. Maria, if you were to describe yourself as a student, what words would you use?
Nerdy. Get good grades. And sometimes shy, especially with new people I don't know that well, but very goofy when I'm with my close friends.
Fair enough. One of the questions we ask the whole student is to know about that moment where you felt seen, heard, or known back when you were a student. Can you set the stage for us?
Yeah, it's a very intriguing question. I kind of went down my memory lane, and there's this moment that keeps coming back to me, and actually started with me not understanding what my math teacher was asking when my math teacher in high school, when I was a freshman, was also the coach for the math Olympic team. So yes, there is a team to do competitive math.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bai tapped on my shoulder and said, Maria, I really think you should join the club. And I said, no, I don't want to. And I said, the reason, and he said, why wouldn't you want? You're very good at math. Don't you like math? I said, yes, I always get A's in math. And it kind of was somewhat easy for me. I said, I don't want to join the club because one, they're all boys. Like girls are not in that club. And two is, I think I was intimidated because to do math in a competitive way, I think it's a lot of pressure. I was like, I don't want the pressure.
Right.
And there's all boys and I'm a girl. I should do the girl things. And remember that he just wouldn't take that as an answer, right? Not in a confrontational way, but he just smiled and looked at me quietly, not saying anything. But I know as a student, him as my favorite teacher, that answer was no good. I did not have a right answer.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it just kind of awkward, or with him smiling at me in a very encouraging way for a couple minutes. And I said, okay. Right. Also the power of silence, and the feeling of actually being seen. And
Right,
I
right, right.
understood why he asked me to join the math club, to really cultivate more of my kind of natural
Right.
talent in doing this, and really look beyond.
Wow.
And that's what boys do. That's what girls do. And kind of he brought
Right.
out a little bit. I'm competitive in a different way. I'm not athletic, and so when
Mm-hmm.
people talk about being competitive, you think about people can run, can jump. I couldn't do any of that. I was quite a
Right,
nerdy
right.
kid, but I actually end up doing quite well in but as
Mm.
part of the math club, and competed also as part of the team. So it
Wow.
also brought me the experience of being a member of a team and going out there and compete in the
Wow.
city, in the state, representing your school.
Right.
And we did win trophies. And I remember, wow, I could win trophies as a math nerd.
Right, right, right,
Uh,
right.
and that
Wow.
actually sets the foundation later on for me to study computer science, which is very much peripheral
Wow.
to mathematics, and had
Wow.
my career in a very competitive field, in a field mostly dominated by male peers and coworkers,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really was that moment, that 2 minutes of silence, when my math
Mm.
teacher silently wouldn't take my answer as an answer. And I found the
Wow.
courage in him, like his confidence in
Mm.
me, to have this
Mm.
experience I didn't imagine I would have.
Wow. Like you knew in that moment that he'd been looking at you the entire time. He saw what you were capable of, and he
Yeah.
saw the potential in you.
Yep.
Wow. Who was the teacher? What was his name?
Yeah. His name is Mr. Bai.
Okay.
Yep.
And where is he now?
He's 72 years old. He still lives in our hometown. He's still teaching. Yeah,
Wow.
so I hear he's not only my favorite teacher, I think many of my friends' favorite teacher. So
Oh, wow.
I live very far away now. I won't be able to visit him in person, but I
Right.
still get photos and from my high school
Wow.
classmates posting. I think they even visited him this last past New Year. That was the last time I saw
Wow.
photos of him, and I feel like
Wow.
he looks the same. Yeah, after so many years. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Have you had opportunity to stay in touch with him, or talk to him, or tell him what he meant to you in terms of inspiring you in this way?
Yes, through my friends. I did see him,
Okay.
I think maybe 10 years ago. It's just because I came here uh, in United States. It's just the distance is makes it
Yeah. Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Of
But
course.
I know he's fully aware of like what I do, because it's kind of a
Fair enough.
topic of the conversation when my friends go visit him and they would talk, and he would say something like, I knew, I
Yeah.
saw that in her. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And now, if he sees this podcast, or someone sends him a copy of it, or he listens to it, what would you like him to hear from you? Would you want to say something to him? What would you say?
Oh, um, Mr. Bite, thank you so much.
Mm,
I can't even find the words to express my gratitude.
mm,
And I want you to know all these math lessons that you've given us
hmm
with great clarity and humor.
mm,
Somehow, your ability to find humor in math really inspired me.
mm,
And that moment when you encouraged me to join the math club, and later on we competed and won trophies, really was a turning point in how I see myself, how I believe what I could possibly do, and
hmm
broke these stereotypes and boundaries that we had inherently set for ourselves. So you're an amazing teacher. I know many students are telling you this, but I want to tell you again,
hmm
yeah, how much it meant to me, and how
Wow.
fortunate I feel to have the opportunity to be your students for 3 years.
Wow. If I was Mr. Bynum, I heard that, it would touch my soul right. And I appreciate those words, and I know he will as well. Um, One of the questions I ask guests at the end is a fun one, and it's if I had a magic wand and I handed it to you, and you could invite 5 teachers in your life to a meal, who would they be?
Does it have to be my teachers? Could it be anybody's teachers?
Or it could be people that you consider your life's teachers, people that you think are
Mm,
they don't have to be classroom teachers, people that have taught you in your life.
mhm.
Like if you brought them together and you had a meal with them, who would they be? I'm assuming Mr. Bai is one of them, but who else?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely, actually, the high school I went to was
Mm,
quite amazing. It's one of the best high schools in China,
wow.
and definitely the best high school in the city I lived in.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so my English teacher, my English, my Chinese teacher, my chemistry teacher, my math teacher,
Wow.
I
Nice.
basically, let's have a reunion and get
Oh, wonderful.
back
That sounds
together. Yeah, I
that
also
sounds
think
great.
that's an inflection point for me, right? As
Mm-hmm.
a teenager, at that point, I think I kind of
Mm-hmm.
found my way, right, and my
Mm,
passion in science, and then later on pursued this both education and later on this career of being a computer scientist and engineer. It really was
wow.
that school that sets the foundation.
Wow, Maria, thank you. I think your journey and your story and how much you value education is inspirational, and I hope that students and parents and educators listening to this will feel inspired by your spirit and your story and the time you've given to sharing it. Thank you. Um, thank you for sharing that, and I appreciate you. Any other final thoughts around
Thank you. I think
being?
this is a fantastic idea to
Yeah,
have this podcast. I would not have thought to have this opportunity to share my stories, but as I was just remembering and thinking and articulating and hearing myself telling you the story, it just makes it even more meaningful. And
yeah.
just I'm just filled with gratitude. And thank you so much for
Thank you.
having me, and thank you so much for hosting the whole student podcast. This is amazing.
I appreciate you, Maria. Thank you.
All right, bye
So, as we
bye.
say, class dismissed. All
Thank
right. Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. The Whole Student Podcast has been brought to you by Dunncast. Produced by J.D. Scroggin, the Director of Marketing and Communication at the Dunn School, and co-produced by Brandon Scott of Comfort Food. Thank you for joining us.